DWAC. It's not the name of an up-and-coming rapper, it's actually the name of a stock that has been up 850% in the past 5 days, and in this video I'm going to talk about what is happening, what's Trump's involvement with it, how it got hacked, and my thoughts on it. And as always, if you enjoy this content, make sure to bop that like button down below. Now, on to what has happened. So DWAC, which is how I pronounce it, is a ticker symbol, DWAC, and as you can see, it has been up 850% in the past 5 days, and from Thursday to Friday alone, it was up like 200%. So not too long ago, this was a $10 stock, and recently it reached a peak of $130, which is absolutely insane. Now, to explain why this is happening, we have to go back a little bit. This actually has to do with Trump, and note that this video is not about politics, so whether you love him or hate him, that's beside the point. But what has happened is that a couple days ago, he announced that he was planning a social media platform that he was going to call Truth Social, which is, quote, to stand up to the tyranny of big tech, unquote. So very interesting, and it is expected to have a beta launch in November with a wider rollout next year. How this relates to the crazy stock that I showed before, the release lists Trump as the chairman of the Trump Media and Technology Group, which would be formed by joining with Digital World Acquisition Corp, aka DWAC, pending regulatory and stockholder approval. DWAC is a special purpose acquisition company, blah, 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 blah. Now, if you haven't heard of the term SPAC before, or special purpose acquisition company, the specifics aren't super important, but it's basically like a blank check company. So if you've ever seen a company IPO, or like go public on the market for the first time, that requires a lot of paperwork and lots of time and I imagine fees and stuff. But a SPAC allows companies to go public like without an IPO. So basically the SPAC merges with the company and then the company becomes public. So some examples you may have seen are CCIV, SoFi, and Virgin Galactic. And over the past couple years or so, the number of SPACs has been increasing really, that was terrible English, but over the past few years, the number of SPACs has been increasing a lot, relatively exponentially. So for example, here's a chart from CB Insights. So 2021's SPAC merger count has already more than doubled from last year. 2016, 2017, fewer than 10 SPACs completed, 2020, 65 completed and 13 pending, and for 2021, this is from Q2, so about halfway through the year, 61 were completed and 151 SPACs were pending. Sorry, not 151 SPACs, 151 mergers were pending. Anyway, the point about SPACs is saying Trump wants to go public with his social media platform via the SPAC, DWAC, or I like to eloquently pronounce it as DWAC, so I guess that has drawn a lot of attention and a lot of buying frenzy to this specific stock. And it has brought so much attention that hackers have gained access to a private version of the former president's recently announced social media platform and posted image of defecating pigs, expletives, and more, according to multiple reports. This doesn't really have anything to do with the financials, I just thought this was kind of interesting. As for how Trump stands to, I guess, benefit from this, he actually is poised to get a massive boost from the meme stock mania, and I guess we're calling this a meme stock now because it's getting crazy attention. People are talking about it online, and it's been doing crazy numbers, like it's been moving an insane amount. So news late Wednesday that the former president's media enterprise is planning to go public has sent retail investors into a frenzy, even though like we don't know that many things about the platform itself, and this means that the implied value of the new venture is more than $8.2 billion, billion with the B. And according to different filings, it looks like Trump will own more than 50% of the combined company. So at the current valuation of, $8.2 billion, that would make him the richest he's ever been, up from his current measly net worth of $2.5 billion. That's sarcastic, that's a lot of money. And another thing is that in terms of details, we have none. It's also unclear how he plans to build a social media platform on the scale of Twitter over the next, on the scale of Twitter over the next few months, let alone create a streaming service. And this also is an important thing to note. Technically speaking, and here by technically, I mean technologically speaking, someone could recreate the functionality of Twitter or the functionality of Facebook, YouTube, any other tech platform. But what makes these platforms unique is the user base that's on them. So for example, someone could make another Facebook, but it probably wouldn't do as well because Facebook has an insanely large user base and number of daily active users. So if this does release, it's going to be very difficult to build such a large platform. And this was kind of funny. We have no financials. We have no business plan. We don't know how they got to the valuation. We have no information.
In terms of money, We have no money.
That's the fundamental problem. So that is quite interesting. And as for how people are reacting to this, love him or hate him, retail traders are buying the Trump-tied SPAC. Retail traders are putting aside politics for profits when it comes to the former president. For example, this person says that they made $12,000 by investing $2,000 into the company, which is a 6x return. Insane. And somebody else bought in at $13.41 a share and sold when it reached $144 a share, so more than 10 times your initial investment, which is, again, crazy. It's crazy how these things can take off and people can make money from it. As for my thoughts on the whole situation, my thoughts about this and kind of all chaotic phenomena in the market recently have kind of been the same. And that is to say, I like to watch from the sidelines. Sometimes I do feel a bit of FOMO, like, wow, this person made 10x their money. If I put like X amount of dollars in, I could have 10x amount of dollars. But over time, I've learned to just sort of enjoy watching the chaos. And if I were to try and trade or make a little bit of money on it, I would do it with a small amount that if it went to zero, I'd be fine just to play it for a little bit of fun. But I think I get more joy just from watching and reading these articles about the insaneness of this SPAC, which again, I'm calling DWAC. So Trump is trying to make another Twitter. There's a stock that's up 850% this week. I hope you enjoyed and found something interesting, and I'll see you guys soon.